Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to a how-to on World of Warships, and today we will be explaining the concepts of battleships. Now the video is going to be a replay where I was in my Amagi, where the game was very fun, but there are moments where it does slow down because you are a battleship and you are extremely slow. So let's go ahead, just look over the basics on the map so we kind of know what's going on. We're on hotspots with an Independence, us, a Nagato, New Mexico, the Otago, Pensacola, 3 Miyokos, our ally, our friend, our division mate, Mental Array, and his Fubuki, which has been on this channel before, Mahan, and a Hatsuharu. On the enemy team, there's a Riho, North Carolina, Colorado, New Mexico, Fuso, Mogami, Otago, York, 2 Miyokos, Hatsuharu, and an Anshan. So, first off, knowing the map is key. This map in particular is kind of a, I don't really want to say dickish, but your team is split up, and when you're trying to defend base, you either push their base or you defend your base. And we've decided to defend our base, which is a good idea. Now, fortunately, battleships are beastly. They have a lot of health and a lot of armor. But if you are alone, you will just get chewed up and spit out. So, fortunately, I have 2 cruisers, 2 destroyers, and another battleship that is going to be helping me. And we are focusing on this York. We lead the target, fire our salvo. He is about 14 kilometers, so the dispersion on the shots aren't the worst. And that's usually what battleship drivers have to deal with. Battleship captains, drivers, not captains. People are probably raging. Is the RNG of the guns. You can line up your shots perfectly. I've done this hundreds of times. And then RNG just says, nope, fuck you. You're not getting your salvo right on target. So you do have to deal with that. And one thing you have to keep in mind is your dispersion on your shells. He's at 16 kilometers. Shells are looking really nice. We are firing at the Fuso. And we do 12,000 damage. And that's not a citadel. That's just penetration into the armor of a non-vital area. So you can do really good damage even if you don't hit a citadel. So we're continuing on, and you can see I'm slowing up. I'm only at about half knots. I'm not trying to push too forward. You kind of want to slow up, not push forward, but you don't want to be all the way in the back and letting your team die, because you can take the hits. Trust me, you can take the hits. And if you notice, I'm also slightly angled towards these 2 battleships. Even though they are lower tier and their shells are the lower caliber, you still want to be angled because you can get damaged if you're fully broadside. And we are bouncing off shells because we were fully angled and none of the shells penetrated. So always try to angle and always try to move. Makes you a little bit harder to hit. So we're trying to bring our back guns around. And that's another thing you have to deal with when you're in a battleship, is your guns turn exceptionally slow. We are focusing on this Miyoko. And this Miyoko is providing a nice easy target, but unfortunately for us, RNG wasn't in our favor, and you can see we took quite a bit of damage because we were a little bit more softer angled and shots got penetrated, and we just took a major one, I believe, from the Fuso. Fairly certain, or it could be like Colorado, but still took massive damage. Now here's a bad battleship driver. He was driving in a straight line, and we have 2 destroyers, a Fubuki and a Mahan, both over here firing their torpedoes. And he just kept sailing in a straight line. If you've noticed, I've zigzagged, I've moved around, I'm constantly changing my direction and my speed so I don't get surprise torpedoes from that Hatsuharu, which we do have a Hatsuharu not too far away. Now we're focusing on this Fuso, hoping to get some good hits. A little high, did knock out one of his guns. And fortunately for him, he just missed. But one shell hit, that last one, and we got 4,000 damage, which is really nice because it does, even though it's not a citadel, it still is going to take a good chunk of his health. Now we're focusing on this Mayoko. He softens up his target off of his angle. And this salvo right here, this last one should finish him off. And there. Citadel. And that's what every battleship driver wants to get, is a Citadel. It's such a nice feeling to get Citadels and just demolish your enemies. And cruisers are a battleship's bread and butter. They really are. Because their armor is exceptionally weak. And it just won't hold up against the higher caliber shells that battleships do have. And so, if you're a cruiser, do not show a broadside. That's a whipping, or whooping. However the Mighty Jingles says it. Yes, I am quoting the Mighty Jingles. All hail him. Now we're focusing on this Fuso. Getting good penetration damage. And he is healing. Our last salvo and kind of goes all over the place. Hits a superstructure. And when you're a battleship driver, you don't want to hit that superstructure. If you can hit the armor, preferably down by the waterline, and that's where you always need to aim, is the waterline. And I leave this target a little bit too much, but one hits the bow and gives us 1,120 damage, which is always very nice. And another thing is, sometimes you can get lucky with your shots. Watch this. We just barely grace over the mountain. Barely grace over. And this was more of a blind shot, but we do get a hit. That's caused some damage. I know, not the most amazing. And because we were changing our direction and our speed, we missed those Hataru. And that was kind of a bad play on him. He fired all his torpedoes in one go. All one spread. He should have spread them out. He should have did one ahead and one along the line. And we still have this Hataru going around, and my ally is gonna come help me find him, which is very good. So at this point, there's not much that's gonna be happening. I do switch to high explosive because I am expecting to deal with this destroyer that is around. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we are, as far as the team is going, leading. We have leading by 3 ships. Yeah. Leading by 3 ships. They've lost almost all their battleships. We haven't seen the North Carolina. Haven't seen them yet. There's that Hataru. Fired a salvo of high explosive. Doing pretty good. And if you're in a battleship and you see a destroyer 8 kilometers or 6 kilometers or whatever it is, fairly close to you, he is a major threat to you. Because of the torpedoes, he is a major threat, and you want to get rid of destroyers. Like, if it's the last thing you want to do, because they can just downright kill you. Boom. Alright, that Hataru is no more, so I do switch back to armor piercing. We're going to make our way around this island. We do have a Megami that is sneaking up behind us. Trying to be sneaky, but we do have an Atago and a fellow Miyoko. And we have this New Mexico, who is called Wrangler 001. Here, I'll talk about this in a second. The Amagi's AA, once you get to higher tiers, your AA is very good. It's not the most aggressive, not as aggressive as cruisers, but enough to defend yourself. Ugh, sorry. Slight yawn there. But continuing on with this Wrangler 001, I have seen him before. And I'll point it out later in the video where I've seen this guy before, because he does mention why. But he is currently working on his New Mexico. He's helping to guard this independence from aerial attack from the Huruho. And the Huruho is playing very smart. He is sending his planes from the south and going north. But anyway, so we finally see the North Carolina. He is all the way south, and he's full health. He has not taken damage at all. I haven't seen him until now. So this is a bad battleship player. Now, granted, some people might be arguing, oh, but a bad battleship player is one that runs ahead and gets killed. Yes, that's true, but a bad battleship player is also one that stays that was a weird glitch. Everyone saw that, right? But a bad battleship player is also one that stays way in the back, not really supporting his team. I've seen this time and time again. You can take your hits. I know I'm driving this like a nail into a coffin, but you can take the hits. You really can. There are times when, yeah, you need to pull out. You need to get away. But don't sit like this, North Carolina, all the way and back, and not do anything. Like, he could have taken me on. We are trying to focus this Anshin down, but yeah, maybe we'll get a few hits. So we do have kind of sitting in the background. I want to take him out because once again, he is a threat to us, as well as our sorry about that, as well as the carrier. And you always want to support your team no matter what. So some people might argue it's pointless to fire a destroyer in a battleship. No, it's not. It's almost a priority, the highest priority you can manage. So with that taken care of, we're gonna go ahead and try to go for the cup. Oh my word! I'm sorry. I don't mean to be yawning this much. So there are a few torpedoes, which was fortunately scouted by my division mate, so easily avoided, no big problem. And I probably should have helped and stuck around with the torpedo planes, but I had other things on my mind. I was wanting to go help take down the Mogami, but he's already taken down, so instead there is a Myoko at 20 kilometers, just barely in our range, and our guns are slowly turning. And our AA is doing pretty good. We actually took down a plane. So here's another thing, probably as far as advice, what I would recommend is plan ahead. Plan where you need to point your guns. And I always do this with all of my ships. So yeah, plan ahead. Get your guns turned in the right direction instead of waiting till the last minute. So we do fire on this Myoko. Lead the target. And we do get a Citadel, which is very nice. Took out over half his health. And he's now starting to burn death. And at this point, Myoko turns away. And this is hard for anyone to shoot. And I will say I was probably lucky with this shot. But we do fire all our main turrets, following the shots in. Can we get the kill? Yes, we can. We get a last Citadel that came in from the top and went through his deck plating right into a Citadel. So very nice. So once we get that, we're heading to their cap, and you see we have torpedo planes. Another major thing is you need to turn towards torpedo planes, and you can see our AA is going off. Watch how quickly the torpedo planes do melt. 2 planes down. 3, 4. 4 planes down. So your AA, this high tier, can do a very good job defending yourself. Don't expect to take on a full squadrons of torpedo planes, fighters, and dive bombers. You won't win. But with this lower tier, you definitely can take it out very easily. And you also saw that I could dodge that. I also turned in towards the torpedo planes and provided a smaller target, because when you're driving as a carrier, you're more focused on trying to get that broadside. So if a battleship or any ship turns, and this is lucky, watch how lucky we are. Bombs just miss us off our port side. So if you provide a smaller target, it's harder to hit you. And one other thing I'd probably recommend is get the module upgrade for your turning, because you will need it for battleships, because they don't turn very quickly. So get that. It's worth the money. It will save your life if this is not any good point. So there is that North Carolina. North Carolina is a true battleship. The Amagi is actually a battle cruiser. Now the reason why I'm pointing this out is here in the next few salvos, he will actually take a hit from me, but he won't take any damage at all. You'll see it in just a little bit. He's also full health. No damage at all. And he's running away. Now he could turn in, and this is how a North Carolina captain should be playing, is he should turn in with his bow facing the enemy and fire that way. Less likely to get damaged than this. Here's these 3 shots. Takes no damage at all. So unfortunately he's outside range. Not much we can do. So instead there is this rehull. And this reho is going to be a last kill. So the Wrangler 001, he does point out, he goes, I have a Yamato and that puppy is hard to scratch. I have seen Wrangler 001 in battle before, and if he does see this video, which I highly doubt, it was awesome playing with you, and we get our 4th kill with the Citadel and Confederate. So this is going to be it for this video. Not very much else we're going to cap. And that's about it. So if you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. It's very appreciated by me. You guys have a great day. Zaijian.